All right, if you're gearing up for the baccalaureate, you know Moara noroc is a big one. So in this breakdown, we're going to dissect the tragic downfall of its main character, Gita. We'll trace exactly how a good man's ambition spirals into total ruin, giving you all the key points you'll need for the exam. So let's dive right in. You know, the entire story really kicks off with this piece of wisdom from Gita's mother-in-law. Think of it as a warning, a prophecy even. It sets up the central conflict of the whole novel. What's more important, the quiet peace of a simple life or chasing after wealth? This choice is going to define everything for Gita. So here's how we're going to walk through Gita's journey. We'll look at 5 key stages. First, his big decision, then the dangerous deal he makes, the moral decay that sets in, the moment he crosses the line for good, and finally, the violent, inevitable ending. Okay, let's start at the very beginning with that initial dilemma. This is the choice, the crossroads, that really sets this whole tragedy into motion. So, on one hand, you've got Gita's life as a humble cobbler. He's got a loving wife, Anna, a united family, and his honesty. But he's poor, and he's not happy about it. On the other hand, there's the Moara noroc, the lucky mill. This place represents a chance to be a rich innkeeper, but it's loaded with risk and temptation. It's a classic choice between safety and ambition. And here's the crucial point. At this stage, Gita is no victim of fate. Not at all. He actively, consciously chooses ambition over contentment. He hears his mother-in-law's warning, understands it, and basically says, thanks but no thanks. He believes money will solve his problems. And that single decision is the first big step on his road to ruin. Making that choice leads us right into our second stage. See, Gita's new life at this remote inn puts him on a direct collision course with the most powerful and feared man in the area, Lika Samadao. Now, it's super important to get what a Samadao actually is. Lika isn't just some guy who herds pigs. No way. He is the undisputed ruler of this territory. He's the guy who knows every back road, every secret, every good person, and especially every bad one. The whole region is terrified of him. He is the law out there. And Lika himself just lays out his terms of power with this bone-chilling line. This isn't a friendly suggestion, it's a flat-out demand for total control. If Gita wants to run that in, he has to become a piece in Lika's game. There's really no other option. And this is it. This is Gita's deal with the devil. He tries to say no, he really does, but Lika makes it crystal clear. You're either with me or you're gone. So, terrified, but let's be honest, also tempted by the money, Gita agrees. He becomes Lika's lookout, an accomplice in all his dirty business. And right there, his honesty becomes the first thing he sacrifices for wealth. So once Gita makes that pact, the poison really starts to seep into his life. Sure, the money starts to come in, but so does the fear, the paranoia, and the moral corruption. We start to see his entire character change from the inside out. You can literally watch his downfall through his actions. First, he gets pistols. Then he brings in these huge, vicious guard dogs. But the most telling thing, he pushes away his wife, Anna. The man who was once a loving husband becomes secretive, angry, and even violent. He's just consumed by the darkness of his new life. And all this time, Anna is like his conscience. She sees Lika for the monster he is, and she tries to warn Gita, but it's like he can't even hear her anymore. He's so deep in his obsession with money and his fear of Lika that he just dismisses her. And that creates this gap between them that never, ever closes. This is the real price of his new wealth. It's not just about being a criminal's accomplice. It's the death of his soul. That joy he used to feel with his wife and kids, it's completely replaced by this constant, gnawing anxiety. He ends up losing the very happiness he claimed he was working so hard to get. So far, Gita's rot has mostly been internal. But now we get to the moment where all that corruption just explodes outward in this act of unforgivable betrayal. This right here is the point of no return. Just picture the scene. Lika, in this huge power move, decides he wants to dance with Anna. She says no. But Gita, instead of standing up for her, he actually pushes her toward Lika. He tells her to just play along, totally dismissing how she feels and the obvious danger. And what's so twisted is that inside, Gita is being eaten alive by jealousy. He's watching them dance, and it's killing him. But he still does nothing. He uses his own wife as a pawn, like a piece of bait to keep Lika happy and protect his dirty business. It is a complete and total moral collapse. And then he says this line. Lika asks if he can have Anna. And Gita, in this sick mix of jealousy and a desperate scheme to trap Lika, he just utters these words. He verbally sacrifices his wife, his honor, and the last tiny shred of his humanity. This is it, the absolute bottom. After that betrayal, there's only one place the story can go. Total and utter destruction. Gita's choices have kicked off a domino effect that is going to bring everyone down with him. The ending is just a bloodbath. It's brutal. Gita, believing Anna betrayed him, murders her in a fit of rage. Just moments later, he's shot and killed by one of Lika's men. Lika himself, when he's about to be caught, commits suicide by smashing his head against a tree. And the inn, that symbol of Gita's greed, it burns to the ground in what feels like a purifying fire. So in the end, who's left standing? Only the symbols of wisdom and innocence. The mother-in-law, the one who gave the warning from the very start, and the children, who are too young to be corrupted by all this. It's such a powerful statement on the devastating cost of greed. So, as you study for your exam, this is the big question to wrestle with. Was Gita just a weak guy caught in a terrible situation, a victim of a powerful man like Lika? Or was every single step of his downfall a conscious choice he made, starting with leaving his quiet life and ending with sacrificing his own wife? The answer to that is really the key to unlocking this whole tragedy.